Happy Sunday and welcome to Dear Black Girl. Thank you for tuning in to today's show. As you read before the start of our show, today's topic will include stories and information that may contain emotionally difficult or triggering material. Viewer discretion is advised.
Our show has always been a platform to expose Black and Brown girls to information that will help them in their godly identity and assist them in accomplishing the will of God in their lives. While some episodes are lighthearted and playful, some episodes we do have to talk about hard topics. So today we are talking about secrets. Markel, what are your thoughts on secrets?
Well, Kendall, I think secrets can be good and bad. For example, keeping your home address or whereabouts from strangers will keep you out of danger. But keeping secrets that make you emotionally unstable is not a good thing for your mental health. Speaking from experience, it can really take a toll on your mind. But after finding someone trustworthy to confide in, you will feel better.
Very interesting, Margot. I agree that keeping secrets like your home address will keep you safe, and that other secrets can harm you. Secrets can drive you to be paranoid and stressed, and this will make you more stressed than you actually need to be, since you're afraid of the consequences or the outcome of telling the secret. But in my experience, telling secrets can relieve you from that stress and possibly grow a bond between you and the person you're telling the secret to. I know there are some things that you want to keep private, but not everything needs to be kept inside.
Well said, Kendall. Well, let's bring out our founder and friend Coco to see what she has to say about all of this. Please welcome the creator of Dear Black Girl, Cordelia A. Banny.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us again for Dear Black Girl, Season 4, Episode 3. We are so excited to be with you today to talk about this really important topic. Kendall and Margelle, thank you so much for that great introduction. Ladies, you can go backstage and enjoy the rest of the show. So today's topic, we're talking about secrets. And as you heard my girl say earlier, some people believe that secrets are fine, that there are innocent secrets that don't hurt anyone. But I began to question that when I realized that 1 in 4 girls between the ages of 0 to 18 will be abused in their lifetime. And most of those girls will never disclose that abuse. And I started thinking about the dangers of secrets. And I began to learn that there are different ways that we can hold things private, right? We have privacy, there are surprises, and then there are secrets. And what we have come to learn is that secrets are not safe. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. I know there's so many of you out there who are watching who may disagree with what I'm saying, and that's good. That means that there's space for us to have a conversation about what is true and what will keep our young people safe. So to have that conversation, to begin that conversation, I should say, I want to bring out some of my girls. Let's bring out Peyton. Let's bring out Skyasia. Let's bring out, who else are we bringing out? Brielle. Let's bring out all the girls because I'd love to speak to them about what they think. And let's also bring out Audrey. Hey. All right. Where are the rest of our girls? Peyton, Brielle. Okay, they may have dropped off, but they'll be right back. So girls, let's just get started, right? So I want to go to you, Sky, first. I'm curious, when do you think it's okay to tell someone's secret?
Well, I think that sharing someone's private business is not okay. That's just their own personal business that they want to keep safe. However, I think that sharing a secret, especially if it's harmful to that other person or that person, it should be should be a good decision to tell. Finding a safe person to show that finding that secret to tell is dang, I messed up. Finding a safe person to share with can save that person's life and other people's too.
Yeah, that's really good. And I love 2 things that you said. You said privacy and you said safe person. And I think sometimes we equate privacy and secrets. And it's not true, right? So something that's private is something that is between you, and something that you may share with some other person, but something that you don't want to broadcast. You don't want other people to necessarily know it's about you, right? And then you also talked about a safe person. And I think sometimes we believe that anyone can be a safe person as long as they're an adult. And we've come to learn that that's actually not true, right? Who are safe people? Safe people are people who never ask you to keep a secret. Safe people are people who have proven over time that they are in your corner, that they are doing the right things, saying the right things. They don't make you feel uncomfortable. They don't say words or speak things to you that are uncomfortable, and they don't touch you in ways that are uncomfortable, right? Safe people are also people who have proven that they listen to you and they hear you. So I love what you're saying, and I think you're on the right track. Audrey, let me ask you this, right? So let's say a family friend, an uncle, an aunt, a good family friend takes you out and says, we're going to get ice cream today, but don't tell your mom because your mom's going to be upset that I gave you ice cream. Don't tell your mom that I'm giving you ice cream, but we're going to have a great day. Let's go out, let's have some ice cream, and let's just talk. How do you handle something like that when someone says it's just between me and you? Don't tell your mom.
I have come to realize that keeping stuff to yourself can make you hide very important things from your parents. It can also lead this to lying. So I don't think it is a good idea to hide something from your parents. I also don't think that there are innocent secrets. Secrets are not safe. What we consider innocent secrets are either surprises that will come out at some point or private and personal things that only have to do with that person or no one else. There are no innocent secrets.
I like that. There are no innocent secrets. Well, Peyton, let me ask you, right? So, why is it important to talk about secrets? Why do you think it's important to talk about this?
Good question, Coco. I would put secrets as kind of a way of lying. I would say that because you're not being as truthful because of keeping a secret. There's a quote called, "The truth shall set you free." When you don't have the burden of secret, there's a weight lifted off of you.
That's good. Yeah, I love that. And Brielle's not there. Is she hiding in the corner? I knew it. I knew it. I knew Brielle was in that little corner. Brielle, so I have a tough question for you. You're the baby of the family, right? So am I. Let's say the two older siblings that you have say, hey, we're doing this. Don't tell mom and dad. What do you do when your siblings ask you to keep a secret for them?
It really depends on what the situation actually is.
Okay.
It was something that could put them straight into the direction of harm's way. Yeah, I would tell because it could hurt them. They are my older siblings, so there is an unspoken code you follow with them. But if it is something that could put them in or someone else in harm's way, I would definitely tell.
You go, Brielle. I love that answer. Listen, we can talk about this all day, right? We can give our opinions and we can try to figure it out by what, but why not just have an expert come on and tell us what it is, right? I want to thank you girls for being honest with me and for sharing your opinions. And I know to our viewing audience, you may think, oh, is this written for the girls? I'm telling you, I ask them questions. I give them the questions in advance, and then I ask them to prepare an answer. So what they are saying is from their hearts. They've thought about it with their parents. They're sharing what they believe to be true for them. And we are going to come together in this conversation with Alexis and Carlene leading us. And we are going to talk about what is true. Before we jump off, I would like to thank you so much for continuing to impact our girls through sponsorship. If you look on your screen today, you'll see the logo for Albion Ventures. We want to thank them for being our Vanguard sponsors, for just leading the way. We are so grateful to them. We are so grateful to you. If anyone would like to sponsor a girl this season, please go to dearblackgirl.us and we would be happy happy to partner with you to create more spaces like this. I received a call from Audrey yesterday. She called me in the afternoon and she said, "Hey, Coco, I have a question for you." And I said, "Sure, what is it?" And she said, "Coco, my father's cousin's daughter," I think she said, "wants to be a part of Dear Black Girl." And I said, "Of course. I'll get the information over. Just let me know where she is." And she says, "Well, she lives in Ghana." And I said, "Okay, there's a little bit of a time difference, but we can make it happen." I say that to say the Dear Black Girl is reaching so many different people in different countries, different neighborhoods, different communities, and we want to continue to do that. And that is why your sponsorship matters so much. At the end of our show, you'll see the sponsors scroll up to the top, and I just want you to say a prayer and say a thank you to each and every one of them on my behalf. And we will just continue to do this work that impacts these girls and our viewers so greatly. Thank you. Carlene, Alexis, come on out here and do your thing. Have a wonderful interview.
Thank you, Coco. Snap it up for Coco. Today's guest is Miss Ashley Cook. Miss Ashley is a mother to one adult daughter, an advocate, author, and the founder of Faith to Confront. As a respected and vital voice in the critical conversations surrounding sexual abuse and its prevention, she has garnered the trust of faith leaders throughout the nation.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, welcome. Following the harsh backlash that she experienced when disclosing her experience of child sexual abuse, she realized she had an opportunity to help others. Currently, she resides in Dallas, Texas, and is studying Bible and theology and psychology at Criswell College. Welcome to the show, Miss Ashley. Can you share your story and the role secrets played in your journey?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I am so inspired and really encouraged by the conversation that has already taken place. You are all are some of the most brightest and brilliant young minds that I've heard in a long time. And so it's a privilege to be here. Did you ask me to share a little bit of my story? Was that the first? Okay. So I am a survivor of various forms of abuse. I have experienced various forms of trauma in my childhood. I was abused by various family members early in my childhood and ended up having to be removed from my biological family, placed in foster care, went through the foster care system and lived in group homes and things of that nature. Then I was adopted into a family where my adoptive father was a pastor and my mother served alongside him in ministry. And I lived in that home until I was 19 years old. But I had experienced sexual abuse in that home by my adoptive father from age 12 to 19 years old. And one of the reasons why the abuse continued to last as long as it did was because of secrecy and because of some manipulation with secrecy, and the constant threats of, being taken away from my family or nobody believing me or being by myself and not having any support or family. So that is like a tiny portion of my experience. Then at 19, I became a mother, and so navigating how to be a parent to a little bundle of joy, a little girl, when I had never really experienced the love that I think that every child deserves. And so, the first 20 years of my life was very challenging. And so I have chosen to take what I have experienced and turn it into something to be able to help others heal, to help parents learn how to be better parents to their children who have experienced trauma, teaching parents how to be safe adults. And not just being safe when it comes to harm that may or may not be happening to their children, but being safe to their emotional development, allowing them a safe space to ask questions, to talk about how they feel at all times. So that is a tiny portion of my experience. Thank you for letting me share that little bit.
That's amazing. What are secrets? Can there be good or innocent secrets, or are secrets bad? Also, what is the difference between a secret, privacy, and a surprise?
Great question. So I believe that, and I took some notes because you all gave the answers, so I'm learning from you all as well. So I believe that there is a difference between secrecy and privacy. I think that privacy is more of information that we do keep to ourselves to remain safe and protected. Things like our home address, things like our social security number, things that that only a certain amount of people have that information. So when it comes to my daughter's information, her social security number, her birth date, things like that, she knows that that is information that I have, that's information that some family members has and that she has, that she needs to keep under wraps. That's not information that we just publicly share. I believe that that's information that we keep private. When it comes to secrets, I think that secrets are pieces of information that we deliberately not share with other people because there is some form of manipulation or some form of harm that is attached to it. Even when it comes to the example that was given about don't tell mommy that I took you to get ice cream. What one of the things that happens when it comes to abuse is this process called grooming. And grooming tends to start with those little acts of building trust. Well, let's go get some ice cream, or I'll buy you your favorite pair of shoes. Like, let's go to the mall, let's do this. They will try to find out the things that you enjoy and will begin to invite you to do those things. And you sometimes children don't realize that that can be a process of being groomed. Grooming is the process of you beginning to gain or and you trusting an adult, or you trusting someone who is in return going to use that trust to harm you. And so it is important that, if mommy says you shouldn't be having ice cream, maybe it is, it's not just because you're lactose intolerant and you shouldn't be eating ice cream, or it's not just because, you haven't had dinner yet and you should be eating ice cream. I think that those are things that you should still be able to tell mommy. For example, if my daughter is going to go somewhere with an adult and they are telling her, hey, don't tell your mom I did this, the first thing my daughter does is she tells me, because she already knows, like, it's not that it's a bad thing that you're doing it. My daughter is lactose intolerant. So if she's going somewhere having ice cream, I'm glad that you're telling me, because when you wake up in the middle of the night and your stomach hurts, I have an answer, and I can help you with that answer. So I don't think that those types of things, even things that we think are small, or the adult makes the child feel like it's a small thing, don't worry about it, it's okay, those things you still should tell. I don't believe that you should keep those things as a secret. A surprise is, it can start off as a secret, but a surprise, the definition that I have for a surprise, it's something that everyone will know soon. So it's not like it's a forever holding on to that information. It's like, no, I saw daddy buying mommy a birthday gift. I can't say anything about it until the birthday party because it is a surprise. So it may start off as a secret, but eventually it is something that will be common knowledge to everyone. It is something that everyone will know soon. So that's the difference for me for secret, privacy, and surprises.
Thank you. I really agree with what you said, because I feel as though when kids are growing up, I feel as though they need to be like educated more on these type of things, because some people tell these kids to, oh, keep this secret from me, oh, keep this secret from me. And I feel as though like not all secrets are bad, but like some of them are bad. My next question for you though is, how do you manage the fear of sharing a secret when you know telling the secret will keep you or someone else safe, but the backlash may be unbearable?
Yeah, that's a tough one. So I believe that when you have to, what it may seem like is you're breaking trust. when you have to share a secret that someone has shared with you to protect them or to help them. It feels like you're breaking trust. So there is an element of courage that is required to be able to do that, because you recognize that the risk is I might lose this friend. I might be talked about as someone who tattletales, or I might be seen as the person that can't hold water with the bucket, as my grandma would say. So there's a measure of courage that is required, and you have to fashion in your mind that you may end up losing something that is important to you because you care so much about a person and you want to do what you believe is absolutely best to keep them safe and protected. So, what I normally do, because I get the opportunity to talk to a lot of youth and young adults, and the youth who are not legally able to advocate for themselves will oftentimes disclose that they are going through something traumatic or abusive or something illegal. And I have an obligation to report that. I can't just hold on to that information. Like in that moment, I can comfort them, I can give them, what happened to me and share how I navigated through it. But I also have to tell them that I have to report this. And that's not always easy, because when I share my experience and it resonates with them, they feel like, oh, I can trust her because she understands. And so when they open up and they share, and I want to hear and I comfort them, then I also have to kind of let them down in their mind a little bit by saying, thank you for sharing. I believe you. I'm so sorry that this experience happened to you. It should not have happened to you. But because I care about you and because I care about what happens to you in your future, I am going to have to tell someone what you're experiencing. And it's not because I don't care. And it's not because I want to shake up things in your family. It's not because I want someone else to get in trouble. It is because I want you to be safe and I want you to be okay. And I also let them know exactly how I'm going to do that. Number one, I am going to have to make a report with the police. And when I make that report with the police, as they engage you and as they engage your family or the person that may be harming you, I am still available. Like, you have my number. I am here to help you as much as you will allow me to help you through this process. There will be certain legal aspects that I may not be able to be a part of, but if I can be a part of them, if I need to go to a court date and I can get there, I will be there. As much as you want me to be engaged and involved, I'm willing to do that. So I tell them, I'm sorry it happened to you, that I believe you. It should not have happened to you. I'm here for you. And then after I'm here for you, because I care about you and I love you, I'm going to protect you by sharing this information with someone who can change your circumstances. And I'm still going to be here for you. And then I actually need to be there for them. A lot of this is building and maintaining that trust with the adult. If I say that I trust you, then I need to be able to trust what you say at all times. So I got to show up. If I say I'm available, I got to be available and I got to show up. So it can be hard to want to do what's right for your friends. And I always say to do the right thing, even if you are going to receive backlash and you're going to receive criticism, it comes with it, but you can rest at night a little easier knowing that you cared enough about your friend to do something to protect them. And eventually, they may see it that way. They might not see it that way at first, but as time passes, as they get out of that situation, they may look back and see, you know what? She was a good friend. He was a good friend to me because they stopped what was happening to me.
I 100% agree with you because, like Alexis said, kids are not like getting enough. Like me and Alexis, like I don't think they're getting educated a lot. And like what you said at the ending of your response, the police, they may have to get involved. And when like a lot of people, when they find out, they will call the police because they want to know what's going on around your house.
Yes, that's so true. And you have to set that. You all may not have to set that expectation, but because you all have a little more information on what could happen, you can let that friend know. Like I would never let it be a surprise to your friend. I would say to them, "Hey, I love you. I care about you. You my girl. You my homie. Because I care about you so much, I am gonna have to say something. This is not something that is going to be safe for you to continue to be in." And you can even, I don't want to say blame it, but you can even say, you know what, because my parents taught me this, or because Coco taught me this, or because a safe adult taught me that it was wrong for me to keep secrets, and I believe that they're telling me the truth, that I'm going to have to take next steps and protect you and involve other people in this situation so that you're okay.
So my next question for you is, what advice do you have for parents to help them cultivate a home environment where kids feel safe to disclose information?
That is good. I think that parents ought to create an environment that is safe in all that they do. Safety should not just be tied to a child's disclosure of harm. You know, it should be a safe place at all times for a child to express their feelings. I think sometimes adults don't understand that children are, they have their own thinking, that they are smart, that they are not incapable of coming up with good ideas. They're not helpless. Like they are humans, they are developing humans, but they are humans with real feelings, with real experiences. And so we have to provide a space for them to exist at the level that they are. Sometimes parents are very hard and very harsh on their children because they believe that their children should already know certain things, or their children should be on the same level as them, as the adult in their thinking. And the reality is that they're not. So where that child is in their development is important for you to affirm that, to affirm their feelings. For example, if a child is, you going to a cookout and a child decides that, you know what, I'm not comfortable sitting on grandma's lap, or I don't want to give affection to auntie or uncle so and so, I'm just not comfortable with that. That child may not have that exact vocabulary to say, "Mommy, I'm not comfortable hugging auntie such and such." But what they may do is when you tell them, "Hey, go hug your auntie," and they're kind of hesitant, or they're like, I don't, they're squirming, or whatever their body language is that they're communicating is them saying, "I'm not comfortable with this." And when parents force their children to do it anyways, it it goes against that child's personal boundaries, and it tells that child that their boundaries or their feelings are not valid because they are not an adult. Because I, like, a child couldn't possibly have feelings or couldn't possibly have reservations about something, and that's just not true. So we have to be able to listen to our children in all stages of their development and hear what they are saying, hear what they're comfortable with. It's our job to parent them, but it's also our responsibility to make sure that they feel safe in who they are. We affirm their feelings. If they're upset about something, they're angry about something, it's okay for children to be angry, because it's okay for us as adults to be angry. I know a lot of the times as a believer, as a Christian, we're told, "or you can't be angry." And that's not what the scripture talks about. The scripture says, "Be angry, but sin not." You can be upset. There would make no sense. It would make no sense for God to give us all of these different emotions to not be able to experience them all at some point. So just as we as adults experience different emotions and have different feelings about things that we're experiencing, our children have the same experiences, just on a different level. So we have to be safe. We have to allow for them to feel safe in every space. So that's, yeah.
I love that answer. Um, my question for you now is, how has your journey impacted how you develop your own daughter? Has it made you hyper alert to her safety? How can parents who have been injured by secrets prevent themselves from projecting those fears and pain onto their children?
Yeah, so my daughter is 18 now. Lord, I almost forgot how old she was. She's 18 now. She just started her freshman year at college. And I will be honest with you, because of my personal experiences of abuse and manipulation, especially by family members, I was very protective of her to the point where I was overprotective of her. There were some things where I just not didn't allow her to go certain places, or I didn't want her to spend the night or do these different activities, because there was this always what if this happens, or what if she's in, a situation with someone who could harm her. And the reality is I can't be with her 24/7. As much as I love her and as much as I would love to be around her 24/7, we probably get on each other's nerves after a while, but I can't be with her 24/7. So what I have to do is I have to teach her how to advocate for herself, how to protect herself, and not protect herself as far as like physically fighting and all of that, but I mean advocating herself, like putting whatever her boundaries are, being able to articulate, these are my boundaries and I don't want you to cross them. If you do cross them, then I'm going to remove myself from the situation and we can no longer maintain whatever we had. So there were times when I was overprotective. I didn't allow her to go certain places. And sometimes as a parent, that is necessary. And that child may not understand it at that time. But if I have not had a conversation with an adult that is going to be at this sleepover, my child will not be going, because I need to know who is responsible, who's accountable. Then I also want to know, like, I'm that annoying parent where I want to know what kind of training has that parent has. Has that parent gone through child sexual abuse prevention training? Have they gone through any sort of training to have an awareness of what could potentially happen? What practices do they have in their home? What belief systems do they have? Even if we can all be Christians, but that doesn't mean we have the same belief systems when it comes to parenting styles and things like that. So if I don't feel like my child is going to be safe in that space, I'm not going to allow her to go. So we have the way that I parent her, or have parented her, because she's an adult now. So parenting looks so much different now. But when I parented her when she was a teenager, was by asking a lot of questions, and not just questions about where she's going as far as her environment, but asking her how she feels about it. Do you feel comfortable with this person? How long have you known this friend? What are you guys going to be doing? Like, what's the plan? I ask a lot of questions. And now that she is an adult and we've had conversations beyond, her teenage years, she's had an appreciation for it, to the point where she's like, thank you, mom, for not allowing me to go certain places, because there were certain things there that I didn't need to experience. And there are certain things that teenagers just don't need to experience, because you will experience a lot in your adult life. And so I always want children to remain um, not not shielded, but there's a certain level of innocence that should be maintained, because adulthood is going to already teach you so much. So I parent her by protecting her from things. I ask a lot of questions concerning the environment and also how she feels about wanting to participate in certain activities.
I I totally agree with you because, like Brielle said in like the earlier part of the show, you never know like who's responsible for like holding it, or um, if something bad is gonna be there, what are they gonna do there?
Yeah,
Um,
good.
my next question is, what question should we be asking about secrets that we don't know to ask? And what is the answer to that question?
So the question is, what questions should we ask about secrets? And is that for parents to ask their children or for youth to ask like one another?
Mm, it really doesn't matter. Like,
Okay. So as a parent, one of the things that I would advise for parents to begin asking their children, let me put it this way. I don't think that there are specific questions or random questions that you should ask. I think that you should do hypothetical scenarios like in your everyday experiences with your children. So if you're driving somewhere and you ask the question, um, hey Kelly, if someone pulls up next to you in a car and they have, something that you really, really want, if they have some candy or they have a game system or some new shoes or whatever it is that you might be enticed by, and they say, hey, Kelly, your mom sent me here to pick you up, or your mom sent me here to do this. What would you do? So you begin to ask your children those questions, those hypothetical questions that may sound strange, at the beginning, but when you make a habit of asking those hypothetical questions, what would you do if this happened? Then it becomes a conversation. It becomes a part of everyday conversation. It doesn't feel strange. It doesn't feel weird. And then it also gives the parent insight on how that child may think. And it also increases the critical thinking skills of that child. So you'll know how your child thinks, and then the child will also be inspired to think deeper, to also express their feelings about it, their thoughts about it. So if you make it a part of every day, then it doesn't feel so strange. So I don't know that there are specific random questions that I would ask to find out if someone's keeping a secret. I would just make it a standard practice in my relationship with my child to ask a lot of hypothetical questions. And then you'd be surprised how much information the child or youth, young adult may offer to that parent if you're giving a hypothetical, because they may actually be able to relate to that situation. And so they will begin to reveal information that aligns, that says, you know what, mom, I know that this was a hypothetical situation, or I know you asked me, like, what would I do if this happened? But the reality is this has happened, and here's how I responded. And then that gives you as a parent an opportunity to course correct, or it gives you as a parent to celebrate the fact that they made a great decision, and coach them through what they should do if that should happen again. So I hope that answers your question.
My next question for you is, can you share some tips for families to help them feel more comfortable discussing safety and boundaries at home?
Yeah, so that's a hard one. I would say that you would communicate what your boundaries are, why these are your boundaries when it comes to how you parent your children. You would ask them to honor those boundaries when you go to cookouts or family functions. There are certain things that all the family does, and they just don't understand why you don't do it as a parent. And so you have to communicate, hey, these are what the boundaries are for my family. This is how we operate. These are our belief systems. I would ask that you honor those and that you respect those. And it may take a family a little bit of time to adjust to those boundaries because they're not used to them. But if they continue to disrespect those boundaries, then you may have to make some different decisions about how often you are bringing your children around family and friends who have made a conscious decision to disrespect those boundaries. And it doesn't mean that you don't love the family, doesn't mean that you don't care about them. It just means that, hey, I'm committed to making sure that my child is safe and okay. And so I have these boundaries in place for a reason. If you can't honor them and respect them, then I am going to have to love you with a little bit more distance there.
Thank, thank you, Miss
You're
F.
welcome.
This session has been heavy, but filled with such important information, and we will be better because of it. I'm sure families will want to stay in contact with you. Where can our viewing audience stay connected with you online?
Yeah, so everything for me to be found on social media is hello, Ashley Cook, my first and last name, just hello. And feel free to send me a direct message. I am available. Yeah, with any questions that you may have, I'd love to help.
We have received so many tools today. Thank you, Ms. Ashley, for taking the time to water us with your wisdom and giving us these really practical strategies. We wish you all the best.
Thank you. I love you all so much. Thanks for having me.
Now, to our viewing audience, we hope something was said today that you can share with someone you love. Always remember, people are fighting battles we know nothing about. Let's commit to being kind always. If you are keeping a secret and need help or safety, please see the information at the bottom of the screen for help. Now, to close out today's show, please welcome Brielle.
Each episode this season has been filled with so much important information. Please share this episode with the people in your community. Secrets can keep us sick, and we want you and everyone you know to be free. Well, we've come to the end of our broadcast. Please tune in again next week. We'll be discussing college careers and getting the money. Have a great week. Bye.